Who is not here? Every other person, come around. I want you guys close because it's not, it's practical. Okay. I think, is your sound good?
Yes, sir.
Hear it too. I don't trust you. You know. You know I don't trust you. So. Okay, so last time I gave you guys a reference as to what this does, right?
Yes.
Now, I remember I mentioned to you that the primary job of a softbox. Now, this is a round-shaped softbox. There are other shapes. There are softboxes that are square-shaped, different kinds, right? Now, I mentioned to you guys that you were not in class. So I mentioned to you guys that the primary job of a softbox is basically control of your light, right?
Yes,
Now, some of the times when you use light, one of the major problems you have is the spreading of the light. When you turn on the light, it just scatters everywhere. It's showing everywhere, right? Now, the job of this, the primary job of this rather, is to control first that spread of the light. So what you have here now is a round softbox that has a measurement. I don't know if this is 120 centimeters or whatever. I've forgotten what the measurement of this is. But essentially what this is it is going to contain the light to the measurement or the size of this box. Okay? So instead of your light spreading across to places you don't want, this first of all helps you control the spread of that light. Then you have this inside. This is a reflective material, is a reflector. The job of this is to further bounce and push the light out of the softbox. Now, an example of it is when I turn this reflector towards this guy now that is in the dark, you're going to see light will start showing on his face. Can you see? Can you see the light is reflecting on his face?
Yes.
That is the job of this. So this reflective material enhances the push of the light that you connect to this. It invariably means, therefore, that when I'm doing a 3-point lighting setup, it means that I can use a reflector as my field light. I don't need to use a third light. So all I need is to position my reflector in such a way that it can bounce the key light to the other side of the subject, and I have my field light. Simple and short, no stress. Do you understand? Because you can see now. See how the light is making you fine. They will not know that in real life. All right. So essentially, that's that. So now you have all the other things that I showed you guys. You have, give me that. There's a grid there. Up there. You now have, because the fact that this thing even has a reflector is going to make the light harsh. It's going to give the light more strength because of this material inside, right? So what it's going to produce naturally is hard light, just like I told you guys before. That's where you now put this diffuser or diffuser. Whatever it is. So that's where you put this to reduce that harshness and to soften the shadow. Now, there are times that you might not want to soften the shadows. There are times that you want harsh shadows, depending on what you're trying to achieve. Sometimes you want harsh shadows, especially if you're trying to achieve a dramatic look with your subject. We're going to go into all of that in detail, okay? So you use this, and then you use this to further ensure that your light doesn't spread outside your subject. Now, let me give you a practical grid. Let me give you a practical example of that. Now, the last example we did, right? What was that? Okay, the last example we did, we did not have, I didn't move my subject away from the background, right? So, you could not see how much less of this light was spreading. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to show you practically how each of these individual things work in an advanced way. So this is advanced class. First thing we're going to do, turn off the room lights. So turn off every light that is in this house now. Perfect. So we don't have any other light here. All we have is this, our key light. Abi? Now, and the position for our subject is a little away from the background. Good. Now, let's start by removing everything. Come on. Where's our muse? You're blind today. No. Should he sit? No, stand. Good. Now, let's remove everything. Now, look at this. The key, even the shadows of his face, let's not stand straight. Even the shadow, his own shadow reflecting on his own face is harsh. You can see. It's hard, it's harsh. There are times you need it, there are times you don't need it. Then you have light patches on certain parts of his face. So it means that the light is hitting certain parts harder than it's hitting other parts. Okay? Now, let me mirror this one. Now, let's start from here. Abi? Let's start from here. Open your eyes. Open it. Me, my own eyes. Open your eyes. Okay, so now, it's the same light. Yeah. This is a low photo LP 200, right? It's a 200 watt. It's a 200 watt light. Abi? So, we turned it on now. See light everywhere. All the way to this side. Then this place. Everywhere. It's even casting to those of you behind camera. Right? That's how much the spread of the light is. Now, imagine if I'm filming and I don't want light on other parts of this room. Maybe I want to light my background different. I want a different kind of light in my background. I want a different kind of light around here. This is already spoiling it. Right? The way to cure it is not to reduce the intensity of this. Because even if you reduce the intensity, you've not reduced the spread. It will still spread. So, you use this. This is a small softbox safe. So now, what it will first of all do is it will limit the light to the size of the box. So we put it over our subject like this. Hold this. How to twist it now? Good. So now, what it does is it has instantly limited the spread of the light. So the light is no longer showing here because the softbox is not open on this angle, is not open on this angle as well. It's only showing in the shape of the softbox. So it's restricting the light, right? Now, we still have harsh shadows. If I want to create a dramatic lighting, I may not need to do anything further. I just play with the intensity of these and then I'm good to go. To soften it, what do we do? Like we did last week, what do? We add this. Abi? Now let's add it. You guys should help me. Let's start from up. Now, you see that we have not actually reduced the light. We didn't reduce the intensity of the light. All we did was add the diffuser, and it has given us softer shadows. So even all of these harsh shadows here, they are not completely gone, but what you have with soft light is very simple. It blends the shadow parts of the image with the highlights of the image. So they fade into each other with ease. So it's not like that harsh separation. Then you no longer have that circle. It's still there, but it is faded into the light. Now, the problem we now have is our light is still spreading to some. Do you understand? But let's say, for example, I don't want the light to spread too much. I want it to focus primarily on him. Whatever is going to spill should be as minimal as possible. What do? You now use this. So help me. Now what happens? Shift. Can you see? Can you see? Yes. My light is still good on my subject. I still have light on him, but my background is gone. The spill of the light, the spread everywhere is no longer there. So I have now controlled the light to focus primarily on my subject, leaving every other thing out. I can now decide to play with every other thing as I want. I can decide to put a background light. Don't know what this one is controlled into. Away. I can decide to make my background blue, or how did they change this color? I want the blue to be very blue. Anyways, whichever way. So I can decide to now play with my background, put a background light, do every other thing I want, whilst this one will focus primarily on this guy. Is that it? Is that okay? Now, we talked about three-point lighting. Now, what you have with three-point lighting, like I said, is with three-point lighting, you use three lights. You use a key light, you use a fill light, and you use a backlight, not a background light. A backlight is different from background light. Background light is light that lights your background. A backlight, on the other hand, is also called hair light. It is the light that creates a separation between your subject and the background. Okay? So three-point lighting, three lights. Key light, fill light, backlight. Right? Now, the positioning of each of these lights is what is essential. Your key light, for example, is positioned the way this one is positioned. A little to the left at a 45-degree angle. That is, it is not positioned just facing straight on your subject. It is a little above your subject's eye line, tilting downwards towards your subject. Now, because the light is positioned to this side of your subject, what happens is, like I said, this place becomes, one side is brighter than the other side. So you see that on this side of his face, it's kind of dark. That creates depth in the image. It creates drama. It adds character to the image. But some of the times you don't want it to be as dark as it is now, because when you take it into the color grading software, the software is just going to recognize this place as black, right? So in order for the software to still be able to recognize that there's this skin tone here and all of that, you need to give it a little bit of light. That's where the fill light comes in. So what you use the fill light for is just like I said, you can use another light positioned at this angle. You can use another light, but the light you use as a fill light, the intensity must be very, very minimal compared to your key light. The brightest light on your set should always be your key light. So let's say I don't want to use a light, I want to use a reflector, right? No, I can use this. Now, this has a reflector in it. So what I do is, if you're looking at this side of his face, by the time I push the reflector in his direction, you see light will appear. Yeah. You see? Yes. It's minimal, but it's good enough to give the software information that there is light here for it to recognize when I'm grading. Right? I take it away. What I'm doing is I'm using this light. I'm using this light to add feel to this place. Right? So fill light is not a must. It's not a must that your fill light must be another light. You can harness or direct your key light to bounce on your subject or reflect on your subject to give you your fill light. So that's what you have here. You see? Okay? Good. Now, so once you have your key light, your fill light, the next thing is your background light. Now sit down so that we can hide background light behind you. I say background light, backlight rather. So the job of the backlight is to create a separation between your subject. Now, without the backlight, what you have is the subject is submersed in the background. The camera is not able to know that there is a separation. So for example, if there is a different color in your background, maybe your background light is a different color, that is going to subsume your subject. Your subject is going to blend with it. Right? So how you tell the camera that this thing here is a human being and is different from the background is you create a separation between, and how you create that separation is by using a backlight. So you have, some of you that have been with me, you see me shoot, you understand, you would have seen this in practical terms before. But for the benefit of those of you, now, what your camera will now see. Now, when you position your backlight has to be hidden. So it could be from top. You can hang it from the top downwards. All right? Or you can hide it behind your subject like I'm doing right now. Is it showing in your camera? No, I'm talking to... No. So you have it behind your subject, and immediately what it does is, if you're looking at if you're looking at the subject from this direction, from in front of the subject, you're going to see there is an outline of the subject around like this to the head, like this, all the way. You can see it, Abi? Yes, sir. That is 3-point lighting. Now, let's get to the other lighting techniques. Stand up. I showed some of you the other day. Some of you were not around. That's why I keep saying, if I teach something during a shoot and you are not around, you may not be lucky to have me repeat it again. No? I remember showing you guys split light and Rembrandt light. Abi? So how do we achieve split light?
By placing the subject and the light at the side of the subject.
Okay, subject, come on, sit down. Reduce the height of this light. Most lighting techniques, right? Most lighting techniques just basically deal with the positioning of the light, where you position the light. What are you doing? Wow. Good. Now, move the light slowly to this side. I want you to keep watching his face. Sorry, it's me that is my fault. I was the one that said slowly. Move it. Just move the light. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. That's okay. You don't carry and go back. Oh. Good. That's okay. This is split lighting. It divides your subject into two. You have this side dark, and you have this side bright. And it's a dramatic lighting technique. Now, imagine if if I'm trying to show that he's a villain. No, imagine if I'm trying to show that he's a villain and he's plotting something very dangerous and I'm using the split light. And the light is just showing one side of his face. You can just see one eye. You can't see the other eye. And he's just staring into the dark or staring into space. Huh? Tall. So you can just feel the intensity. When he begins, even if he's not giving dialogue, and he's just staring in space, and there's just that separation in his face, you can feel the intensity. It's the psychology of cinematography. It sends a signal to the subconscious mind of the viewer. It's intense. You can't use this for love. You look like a dangerous lover. You're looking at somebody you love, and one side of your eye only is showing. This lighting technique enhances mystery, danger. Do you understand? So that's what you use it for. All you need to do is just move your light to one side of your subject, and it splits the light. Now you can add other lights to it. I can decide to add a backlight. I can decide to add a background light. Let's say, for example, it's a film. In the background, I can still have practical lights, like lamps and all of that, still in the background. But I'll ensure that no light spills to take away the shadow that I've created on this place. Do you understand? That's simply it.
But what if you want to use it, like you decide to use a color lights, like maybe by the side, like the speed one, maybe red for instance. Is this still going to make much sense?
Like if this light is red.
This one is there and it's a red.
Then another one.
Side, yes, by the other, just to split his other side too.
So
yes.
like different colors.
Like
Yes,
colors.
now. Still split lighting. The key to split lighting is dividing the subject into two. One side is this, the other side is this. Simple. Now, if I move the light a little more to this side, what happens is I have not completely taken the shadow away, but I've created something like a triangle here. So you see the darkness is shaped like this. It's called Rembrandt lighting. Rembrandt lighting. Wait. Away. After I finish this thing, the reason why I'm repeating it is you guys are going to do assignment today. You're going to replicate all these things and shoot it and keep for me. So be taking note of all this lighting I'm doing. Let me show you guys another type that I've not shown you. Now, this one is called butterfly lighting because it creates this shadow under the nose. There is this strong shadow it creates here under the nose. And it is simply because of the angle of the light. The angle of the light is a lot higher and then tilting downwards than the regular tilt that you have. Away. Turn it off. Aha, this is the butterfly lighting. This is it. This is butterfly lighting. So you have, can you see butterfly under his nose? Laba laba. His own is not in his belly. He has butterflies down here. So that's how you know butterfly lighting. Then you can light overhead. You can light overhead. It's very dramatic. It creates shadows under the eyes, under the nose. You understand? And then there's light here like this, little shadow here, shadow here, shadow here, shadow here. It's dramatic. Dramatic lighting is not one light, though. It's not one lighting. Any light that creates this kind of three-dimensional feel and is not flat and whatnot tend to be dramatic. Okay? So, you see all these lighting techniques I've shown, ba? You can replicate it. Yes. You can?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So, your assignment. Yeah? No, I will not be here. So you want to use me as practical? God will not agree. So I spoil my reputation. So, your assignment is, you're going to shoot it. You're going to replicate you're going to replicate 3-point lighting. And when I say replicate 3-point lighting, I want to see the effect of your field light as well. So replicate 3-point lighting, replicate silhouette lighting. I know I deliberately didn't mention it now, but I know some of you that were with me the other day. We had a shoot. You know it. So the others should beg you. You can decide to ask them to send you data before you show them. I give you permission, because I don't know why they were not here that day. So even if you decide, out of your benevolence, to say, okay, send us data, 55 gig, before we will show you, no problem. But you people should replicate silhouette lighting, and then replicate butterfly lighting, and the overhead light. That's 4. It's not hard now. Very easy thing. No, don't run on. It's not too much stress. And I want to see how you guys did it. So it means I want to see your behind the scene of every step of it. So you get your muse seated, you replicate it for me, and shoot with the camera. Your ISO should not go beyond 1,000. Your shutter speed should not go lower than 50. Then you can adjust your aperture whichever way you feel best. You know where the aperture is, the lens. That's a cinema lens. It's a manual lens, so the aperture is on the lens. And adjust your focus. And when you shoot your subject, I want it to be a mid shot, not a full shot. So from the waist up, it shouldn't be full. Okay? And then when you're filming your subject, observe the rule of thirds. Observe the rule of thirds. I'm marking your assignment tomorrow. I'm checking it tomorrow.